Please talk when I today the please answer me. There will be another two lectures on the same course module. As you already know, this course module has four lectures. One was the introduction by Dr. Bandhu sir, and this one is in today's lecture we are going to focus on insect morphology and insect classification. And then in the third lecture, did you attend the lectures last week? Do you hear me? මං කියන එක ඇහෙනවද?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I asked a question. Did sir discuss with you regarding diseases?
Yes, we attended, ma'am.
Did sir discuss about diseases? Or
Weeds.
only about
Weeds.
weeds and
අර agro ecosystem එකයි natural ecosystem එකයි අතර comparison එක discuss කරා.
Excuse me, I can't hear.
Me too.
Okay. So in this lecture, we are going to learn about insect pests. Actually, here I will be talking about insects generally, and in your next lecture, next day, Miss Amanda will focus on insect pests with examples. What is the damage they do? What are the crops they attack? Like here, generally, I will be talking about insect morphology first, and then classification of insects. Okay. So here you can see different types of insects, and you can see that there are wide variation among insects, right? So first we will be talking about insect morphology, and after the first session we will be talking about insect classification. In insect morphology, there are two, we can classify it into two as internal and external. So here this is the external morphology or external anatomy of insects, and inside the body there are different systems, other systems. What are those other systems inside the body?
Respiration system, digestive system.
Respiratory system, digestive system, blood circulatory system, what else? Nervous system and the muscular system. Likewise, there are different systems inside the body. So if we are going to talk about all these systems and all, this is very large area to cover. So in this course module, we are going to learn only about the external morphology, external anatomy of insect, not the internal anatomy. So only the external anatomy will be discussed here. And if you go on studying, you go to the degree program and all, you will learn about the internal anatomy and all those things. Right. So compared to other animals in the kingdom Animalia, insects are quite less evolved. So they have comparatively simple anatomy compared to other animals. So I told you that there is a huge variation in the between insects. However, for easiness of studying, we are going to discuss about a typical insect. Right? Sample එකක් තමයි අපි ඉගෙන ගන්න typical insect. So as a typical insect, a grasshopper can be used. Here you can see a grasshopper, and we will be learning about all the parts that are externally available in insects, right? So when we talk about insects, their body can be divided into three segments. Three segments as
Head, thorax.
and abdomen. Head, thorax, and abdomen. Right? So there are three body segments: head, thorax, and abdomen. So in today's lecture, first we will see or look into the parts available in the head, then the thorax and abdomen. Okay, so that's how we are going to talk. That's how we are going to learn today. And as you see here, can you identify any parts that you already know? What is this?
Jointed parts.
What are these?
Jointed parts.
I'm asking what is this body part? They are the legs. They are the legs of insects. What are these?
Wings.
Wings. And these?
Eyes.
Eyes. And what are these?
Antenna.
Antennas. And what else? This is the abdomen part. And somewhere here you see the mouth parts. Right? So first we will discuss about the head. Okay? So as I told you, the body of insects can be divided into three body regions as head, thorax, and abdomen. Head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay. So first, let's see what are the body structures present on the head of insects. Right. Generally, the head is the structure responsible for feeding. When insect feeds, they are using their head mainly because of the mouth parts available. And there are many other functions performed by the head. So we will see one by one, right? So there are different structures present in the head: antennas, compound eyes, simple eyes, and mouth parts. Those are the main structures present in the head. Okay. So these are the antennas. Why are there antennas present in insects?
As a receptor.
Yes. What are they recepting from outside? What is the function of antennas? Now, you know, there are antennas present for televisions and radios. So what is the function of antenna?
Tune. For tune.
Sorry?
Tuning.
I can't hear
Tuning.
you. Okay.
Receiving inputs.
You be more accurate. What is the
To
function
get
of
signals.
yes, receiving signal. So same thing is done by the antennas of insects. So the function of antennas are to receive signals from the external environment. What are the signals they need to receive? මොනවද එයාලා බලන්නේ environment එකේ. Now if you observe a cockroach, I think all of us have seen cockroaches. They have very long antennas. They move the antennas here and there every time when they walk. What are they doing?
එයාලට enemies ලා ඉන්නවද කියලා මේ environment එකේ?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are trying to receive signals from the environment. How do they get the signals? මොන වගේ receptors ද තියෙන්නේ මේ antennas වල?
chemical chemical
Sounds,
hot and cold.
sounds,
Temperature, mainly they are thermal sensors. The temperature is detected mainly, and also they have the ability to feel the environment. I mean, if there is a wall or something in front of them, they can feel it, right? There are main thing that is present are thermal sensors, right? So let's see how these antennas are present in insects. In insects, generally, antennas are present in two antennas are present in one insect. That means paired antenna. Two antennas are there in one insect. Generally, they are located between and in front of the eye. As දෙකට මැද්දෙන් as දෙකට ඉස්සරහින්. Between the eyes and in front of the eyes. Here also you can see these are the eyes of insect, and antennas are present in front of the eyes. Okay. So there is a huge variation in the form and size of insects, right? And this antenna, the type of antenna present in insects are used to identify the insect, and it is used in the classification of insects. මෙයාලගේ තියෙන මේ insect ළඟ තියෙන antennas observe කරලා එයාලව classify කරන්නත් ඒක use කරනවා. Right? The main function is sensory. They sense the touch, and many other sensors are available, but this differs. I told you that there are large number of insects inside this insecta. So the form and size of antennas vary, and their functions also vary. Right? So here you can see some examples. There are different names given for these different types of antennas. මේ එක එක insect එක එක විදිහට තියෙනවා, මේවට එක එක නම් තියෙනවා. According to how they live, according to their living habits, all these antennas, not only antennas, their whole body is modified according to how they live, how they eat, how they move. වතුරේ ඉන්න අයගේ වෙනස්, එළියේ ඉන්න අයගේ වෙනස්, එයාලා කෑම ගන්න හැටි. According to all these functions they perform, their external and internal morphology or anatomy has modified. Right? So during this evolution, different types of antennas are available. Here you can see feathery antennas, club-shaped antennas. I will show you a video clip about different types of antennas. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
In today's video, we're going to be going over the parts of an insect leg and the different kinds of modifications an insect leg may have. Adult insects generally have 3 pairs of legs, so 6 in total. One pair attaches to each of the 3 thoracic segments that make up the insect thorax. The insect leg varies greatly, but are all based on the same general structure consisting of 6 segments. The coxa is the first segment of the insect leg and is what
Sorry, I have shared the wrong video. I wanted to share the video on antenna. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Scape. The scape is located at the base of the antenna and attaches to the head of the insect. The scape sits in an antennal socket on the head of the insect, which is closed off by a membrane. The socket is made up of the antennal sclerite and separated from the sclerites of the head by the antennal suture. The socket also has a pivot-like process called the antennifer. The antennifer supports the scape and allows for the movement of the antenna. The second part of the antenna shaped to the flagellum called the Johnson portion of the flagellum itself is segmented, often with many segments called flagellomeres. Sometimes the flagellum is in insects is tactile and chemical. Information on the antennae. There is a lot of diversity in the structure of antennae, but are all based on this three-part structure. Filiform antennae are slender, and the flagellum segments keep a uniform width along the length of the antenna. In cetaceous
Here you can see different types of antennas.
the antenna as a whole is bristle-like and tapers from the base as you go along the length of the antenna. In moniliform antenna, the segments of the flagellum are rounded and appear like a string of beads. In serrate antennae, the segments of the flagellum are angled on one of the sides, which gives it a saw-like appearance. In pectinate antennae, the segments are elongated on one of the sides and appear comb-like. In clavate antennae, the segments get larger as you move towards the tip of the antenna, forming a gradual club. Capitate antennae, on the other hand, end in an abrupt club, as the last few segments are enlarged. In lamellate antennae, the end segments are flattened and elongated into plates, giving a folded fan-like appearance. In flabellate antennae, all the flagellus segments are extended with long lobes, giving a fan-like appearance. Geniculate antennae are elbowed, as there is a bend partway along the antenna. Plumose antennae have fine thread-like branches called setae coming off each of the segments, giving a feather-like appearance. Aristate antennae consist of a single enlarged segment of the flagellum that bears a bristle called the arista. In stylate antenna, the last segment of the flagella is called a style, as it is elongated and thin. And that concludes this video on insect antennae. Thank you for watching.
Okay. I think you got an idea about different types of antennas. However, you don't need to remember those types and the names. Now what I have listed in the presentation is enough for you at this level. Just know that there are different types of antennas. Here you can see different types. Lamellate, serrate, like there is a huge variation, and there are different names for all these different anatomies. So just know that there are various types available, and according to their function, they have modified. Okay, so you don't have to remember the parts and all. Just have an idea about the things that are given in the presentation. Okay, I just showed you the videos to give you the understanding. මට ඒවා ඔයාලට කටපාඩම් කරවන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. When you're learning further, you will need them. But here at your level, at this diploma level, what is given in the presentation is enough. So, however, I'm showing the videos so that you know there are more things to learn. Okay? Right. Next, we are going to talk about the eyes of insects. When we talk about the eyes of insects, there are two types, simple eye and compound eye. There are two types of eye. And if you take human, we have just one type of eye, which is a very developed, modified structure. But in the case of insects, they don't have very well developed eyes, which give a very clear vision. Right? Like ours. අපිට හොඳට එක නූලක් වුණත් අපිට හොඳට පේනවා පොඩි ටිකක් වුණත්. But in the case of insects, they do not have the ability to see these images very clearly. They just have a rough image, right? They just see some maybe a color difference, right? So they don't have well developed eyes. However, they have two types of eyes, compound eyes and simple eyes. So these are the compound eyes. And these three you see at the center are the simple eyes, right? Compared to simple eyes, compound eyes are more modified. If we compare these two types, compound eyes are more modified. They give a much more clear image compared to simple eyes, right? So this is the frontal view of a head of an insect. So these green color structures shown in the picture are the compound eyes. And here you can see three simple eyes present in front of the head. And these simple eyes are also called as ocelli. Right? Ocelli. Okay, first we will talk about these two types of eyes. Ocelli are the simple eyes. And compound eyes, they are also called as faceted eyes. So generally both are present in front of the head. So two compound eyes and three ocelli or three simple eyes are present in insects, right? So these compound eyes are comparatively large and they are prominent. And these are made of small structures. It looks like a grid. If you look closer, right? So the compound eyes are made of small separate eye elements, body elements, eye elements called as ommatidia, right? About 50,000 of these ommatidia are present in one compound eye. If you look closer, so about 50,000 are present in one compound eye, right? Those simple small structures, the eye elements, are called as ommatidium. එකකට කියන්නේ ommatidium කියලා. Plural form is ommatidia, right? So compound eyes, although they are modified than the simple eyes, they give a less resolution than vertebrate eyes. අපේ ඇස්වලට වැඩිය අඩු resolution එකක් තමයි දෙන්නේ. And it gives an idea about the movement. Just imagine a fly is there. If you move your hand, the fly can see it, right? Movement can be recognized. So here in this picture also you can see that the eye is made up of large number of faceted ommatidia, small eye elements. If you look closer, it will be like this. Structures ගොඩාක් එකතු වෙලා තමයි ඇහැ හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? So this is the structure of a single ommatidium. It is like it has a very minute lens-like structure. පොඩි lens එකක් වගේ එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ හැම එකෙන්ම perceive කරනවා image එකක්. ඒ ඔක්කොගෙම එන image එක මෙතන focus වෙලා මෙතන හැදෙන image එක තමයි මෙයාට පේන්නේ. Right? All these ommatidia will receive some signal, maybe a movement, and all these ommatidia send the signal and an image will be developed here. in the brain of the insect, right? Okay, and this is the compound eye, and this is these three structures here present here are the simple eyes. Generally, they are smaller than the compound eyes, and they have just a single lens. These compound eyes are made of thousands of lenses. This ocelli has one lens in each one. Okay, so there may be 2 or 3 simple eyes present in insects that differ according to the type of insect. So the function of these simple eyes are detecting low light or small changes in light intensity. They are not even developed like compound eyes. Compound eyes තරමටවත් develop වෙලා නැහැ ඒවා. Right? They detect the light variation. Right. So the scientists have decided that these ocelli present, the simple eyes detect the light and the compound eyes detect the movement. Using both light detectors and movement detectors, they get the idea about the environment. That is how the people believe, right? So I will share the video clip about the insect eye. Can you see?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
see?
I'm Andrew Schauer, and in this series, we're looking at insect vision. We'll start with the anatomy of some common types of insect eyes, then work our way up to what insects may actually see.
So let's begin with our carpenter ant. The carpenter ant has 2 compound eyes, and if you look closely, you can see that each eye is made up of hundreds of hexagonal facets.
Some species of insects have tens of thousands of these facets. Our carpenter ant, not so many.
When we go into an extreme close-up and look at a cutaway, you can see that each one of these hundreds of facets sits on top of a long column-like structure. This structure is called an ommatidium.
Right. The singular noun is ommatidium, plural ommatidia.
The type of eye you see here, the kind that the carpenter ant has, is called an apposition eye.
Sometimes known as a photopic eye.
And apposition eyes are more common among diurnal insects, that is, insects that are active during the day.
Here's how they work. Light photons first pass through a clear corneal lens. This lens is the hexagonal shape you can actually see on the surface of the eye. The light then passes into the crystalline cone, which focuses and channels the light further down into the structure. The crystalline cone is surrounded by pigment cells. These work like an opaque sheath. They wrap around the cone and block light from spilling over into neighboring ommatidia. So the light is contained and focused by the crystalline cone toward the center of another group of cells called photoreceptors.
These cells are kind of facing inwards, and they have bundles of microvilli that extend into the central axis. These bundles are called rhabdomeres, and together this tube of rhabdomeres is called the rhabdom. This is where the light is actually captured because the microvilli here have adapted to convert photons of light into electrical signals.
The signals are then sent down to a bundle of axons and into nerve fibers, which send the signal to the ant's brain.
So basically, you could view each ommatidium as a small, self-contained light sensor, and each one sends a small amount of information to the ant's brain, where all the pieces are assembled into a full image.
Exactly. And in our next video, we're going to build on what we've learned to explore a slightly more complex type of eye.
The kind of eye used by insects who come out at night.
larger apposition compound.
Ocelli. Look at two forms.
The first video clip was regarding the compound eyes. Now we will focus on simple eyes.
Forms of compound eye.
Apposition and superposition.
Now we're going to take a look at the other kind of eye, ocelli.
You can see them here on our honeybee in a triangle on top of its head between its larger apposition compound eyes.
We should note that there is a lot of variety between different insect ocelli.
For example, flying insects like our bee typically have 3, but other insects may have 1 or 2, and some have none at all.
To get a general understanding of how ocelli work, the honeybee, Apis mellifera, is a great example.
Unlike compound eyes with hundreds or thousands of facets, each of the 3 ocelli have a single large corneal lens. The lens can be shaped very differently depending on the insect. In bees, it can be curved. In ants, it bulges out like a knot in a piece of wood, or it can be really flat, like in cockroaches. Light enters this lens and travels through the vitreous body, which is basically a clear gel, before it gets to the retina.
Here the light hits various photoreceptors, rhabdoms, just like the ones we saw in the compound eyes. In honeybees, the 2 lateral ocelli have around 1,100 photoreceptors. The median ocellus, the one in the center, has a few more. And that's not that many. These eyes don't capture a lot of information.
But what's really cool, in the honeybee and some other insects, the retina is divided into 2 parts. A ventral retina that looks toward the sky, and a dorsal retina that looks to the horizon. So even though this ocellus has 1 lens, it kind of sneaks 2 eye structures behind it. But before you start thinking the bee is getting 2 nice pictures from each of these eyes, there's a problem. The lenses in the ocelli of honeybees and many other insects don't refract the light enough to form a clear picture on the photoreceptors. They're just hopelessly out of focus.
So our best guess is that most ocelli are just capturing the general light levels. So where does that leave us? What do ocelli actually do? There's a couple of common answers.
There's really good evidence that by reading the light levels of the sky and the horizon, ocelli may help insects control their pitch and roll as they fly.
Kind of like an attitude indicator in an airplane.
Ocelli even sends signals to the bee's brain faster than the compound eyes can, because the nerve pathways are so much shorter. This is great for the bee because when a sharp breeze hits, she can react incredibly quickly to level herself off.
It's also likely that the rhabdoms in some insects, like our honeybee, can detect the polarity of light, which could help them determine their direction relative to the sun. Or, and this is most likely, ocelli may have different functions in different insects or even have multiple functions.
Next time, we'll find.
Okay, I think you got a clear idea about the 2 types of eyes present in insects. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so as I told you earlier, they don't get a clear image. They using the simple eyes, they get an idea about the environment, the light condition in the environment. And as you saw in the video, there are different suggestions made by scientists to the exact function of these ocelli. They think that they get the idea about their level in the environment, the sky, with compared to the sun, where they are going with compared to sun likewise. So, however, compound eyes give them somewhat not clear, quite clear image, right? Not very clear image like what we see. Okay, that's about the insect's eyes. Now we will talk about the insect mouth parts, right? So mouth parts are also present in insects. So these mouth parts are used by insects to feed, to find their food and consume the food, right? Generally, insects feed on plants and other animals, right? this feeding also varies according to the type of insect. If you take a mosquito, how does it feed? Mosquito කොහොමද feed? How does a mosquito feed? Yeah,
Chewing and lapping mouth parts.
mosquito chewing. Chewing කියන්නේ හපලා කනවා. Mosquito
And
හපලා කනවා.
piercing and sucking.
Yeah. What mosquito do is they have a mouth part developed to pierce or make a hole and suck. යාලා කරන්නේ ලේ උරා බොන එකනේ. They make a hole and suck. Right? That is called piercing and sucking. Right? So if we take butterflies, they have different another type of mouth part called as siphoning mouth part. And if you take housefly, how does that housefly consume
Sponge.
their food? They have something structure which looks like a sponge. They use it and sponge it on different food and consume. Right? Can you tell me an example for insects with chewing mouth part?
Mollusks. Slugs.
I'm talking about insects.
Fruit fly.
Okay, fruit flies, yeah, larvae consume. අපි ගත්තොත් butterfly larvae, ගලඹුවා ගත්තොත්, it has a chewing mouth part. They consume the leaves. අපි ගලඹුවෙක් ගත්තොත් එයාලා leaves හපලා කන්නේ. So, there are different types of mouth parts. These mouth parts also modified according to the way they consume food, the purpose, what they are consuming. Right? Imagine the mosquito has a chewing mouth part. අපි ඉවරයි. Mosquitoට මේ හපලා කන mouth parts තිබ්බනම් එහෙම. So, according to their feeding habits, their mouth parts have developed. Right? So, there are different types of mouth parts, as I told you. Piercing and sucking. The best example is mosquito. Right? They have developed their mouth parts to pierce and suck. Right? And siphoning, as I told you, the butterfly has siphoning mouth parts. They have a structure like this. And when they are feeding, this structure erects and they consume the nectar of flowers, and then this rolls again close to their head. Okay. And spongy mouth parts, they are like this. In house flies, they have a structure like this. This is the sponge-like part. They will use this to sponge the food. Okay, I will share a video clip so it will be clear for you. Let me show you.
Mouth parts used for chewing. The first
I hope you can see. Can you see?
Yes.
So, I told you that there are different mouth parts available, and according to the behavior of the insect, they have developed.
Modifications to these mouthparts depending on feeding strategy. We will look at an example of mouthparts used for chewing. The first mouthpart is the labrum. The labrum is also known as the upper lip of the insect mouthparts. It is simple and usually bilobed in
These are the mouth parts available in chewing insects. Hapala kane insects lage mouth parts මේ වගේ. Right? I will skip this as you don't have to remember all these. Here you can see
and mandible.
chewing and lapping mouth parts. Here they are modified somewhat like this.
Will remain similar in wax and arranged as that parts of the maxilla and labium are modified to form.
This is the siphoning mouth parts present mainly in butterflies. Here you can see the structure I told you. This is called as proboscis, and this is the structure I told you, which is used to suck nectar from the flowers. This is the sponging mouth parts available in houseflies. These are the piercing and sucking mouth parts available in mosquito-like insects. Okay, so there are different types of mouth parts according to the feeding behavior of insects. Mouth parts have developed, right? So I think you got an idea about the different types of mouth parts. The parts like labrum, mandible, those things you don't have to remember. Just know that different insects have developed and modified their mouth parts according to the feeding behavior. Okay, right. Next, we are going to discuss about the second body segment. Now we have discussed the main structures present in the head: antenna, compound eyes, simple eyes, and mouth parts in the head. Now we are going to move to the next body segment, that is thorax. What are the structures present in thorax? As you see here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. As the external organs, we can see legs and wings. So what is the function of this thorax? If you look at the head, I told you one of the main functions is to feed or consume food. If you look at the structures present in the thorax, can you say what is the main function of thorax?
The moving part.
Yes, mainly the thorax is responsible for the locomotion. Locomotion, locomotion, movement. Yes, it's the structure which connects head and abdomen. Mainly, it has locomotive structures. Movement එකට අදාළ structures තමයි thorax එකේ තියෙන්නේ. Legs and wings. Okay, so locomotion of insects is performed entirely by the thorax, right? When we talk about the thorax, thorax also has three segments: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. I hope you can see. අපි insect body එක ගත්තොත් කොටස් තුනකට බෙදුවා: head, thorax, abdomen කියලා. මැද තියෙන body segment එක තමයි thorax. thorax එකත් segments තුනකට කඩන්න පුළුවන්: prothorax, mesothorax, and metathorax. Right? So, do you know how many legs are present in insect?
6.
Yes. So, each thoracic segment, each segment of the thorax bear a pair of legs. මේ හැම thoracic segment එකකම legs දෙකක් තියෙනවා දෙපැත්තට. Right? However, wings, when we talk about wings arise from the second segment onwards. දෙවැනි එකේ තුන්වෙනි එකේ තමයි wings තියෙන්නේ. legs තියෙනවා හැම එකේම. wings තියෙන්නේ mesothorax and metathorax. Right? Two pairs of wings are available generally in insects. Right? 6 pairs of legs. 6 legs. That means 3 pairs. යුගල් 3යි. ඒ කියන්නේ legs 6යි. And wings 4යි. Okay. So first let's talk about the legs. Legs also have modified according to the purpose they are used. අපි ගත්තොත් cockroach, and if we take a beetle and a butterfly, so just try to remember how their legs are formed. Housefly, තව කවුද ඉන්නේ?
Fruit fly.
Fly, mites, aphids. So there are various types of insects. So in those insects, according to their behavior, how they move, their legs are modified. Right? So in walking and running insects, like cockroaches, they have a leg like this. Right? They have some legs like this. And according to the behavior, I told you there are different types. So these are the legs that are modified for running. And here you can see another modification. And these type of legs, sometimes mainly they are present in the front of the insect. ඉස්සරහම තියෙන legs දෙක මේ වගේ modify වෙලා තියෙනවා සමහර insects. Okay. These legs are used for digging. හාරන්න. Maybe the soil, they are digging. Okay. And in insects who are swimming, you can see there are some feathery structures which are helpful in swimming. Right? And in some insects, the front legs or the forelegs are modified for catching a prey. ගොදුරක් අල්ල ගන්න විදියට. For grasping. අල්ල ගන්න පුළුවන් විදියට මේ වගේ develop වෙලා. Right? And in some insects, like grasshoppers, they have modified their legs for jumping. Jump කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට මේ වගේ develop වෙලා තියෙනවා. Right? So there are different modifications of legs according to their behavior. So I'll share a video about the legs.
insect leg may have. Adult insects generally have 3 pairs of legs, so 6 in total. One pair attaches to each of the 3 thoracic segments that make up the insect thorax. The insect leg varies greatly, but are all based on the same general structure consisting of 6 segments. The coxa is the first segment of the insect leg and is what attaches the leg to the thorax. Subin is off proximally, and the tibia
So here you can see different types of legs modified for different functions. So you can see how they have modified. Okay, you don't have to remember the names. Okay. The next thing, the other structure present in the thorax. What is that? What is the other structure? Legs and
Wings.
yeah. So wings may be present or may be absent. Some insects have wings while some insects do not have wings. Generally, if wings are present, they are present from the second thoracic segment, that is mesothorax and in metathorax. Sometimes one pair, that means one pair or 2 pairs of wings are present. Wings දෙකක් හරි හතරක් හරි තියෙනවා, right? Wings also have modified according to different types of insects. I think you all have seen different types of insect wings. If you take butterfly, they have very colorful, bright, attractive wings, while beetles have very black color wings. And if you take a grasshopper, they have another feathery type of wings. So there are various types of wings. So if you take butterflies, they have very attractive, colorful wings. Moths and skippers also. So they have different colors, and these colors are given by the scales that are present on the wings. මෙයාලගේ wings වල තියෙනවා scales කියලා පොඩි powder-like structure. So those give the color to the wings of the insect. Right? So let me see. I can't find the exact video, so I'll show you this video instead of that. Here you can see the ladybird eagle, and there are four wings. That is, the wings present in the front are hard, and the wings that are present at the back, hind wings, they are membranous wings, membrane, right? And they are hidden inside the front wings, four wings. ඉස්සරහා තියෙන wings hard වෙලා තියෙනවා. They are protecting the hind wings which are inside the body. Only when they are flying, they will use their hind wings. Right? This is one type of modification. I'll show you another type. I will show it after this section. Let's get back to the presentation. So, as I told you, butterflies, they have very colorful wings because of the presence of scales, different colors scales. Right, so those are the main external structures present in the thorax, legs and wings. Right, so the last segment, body segment that we're going to talk is the abdomen. What are the structures present in abdomen? The abdomen එකේ මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? External structures. Do you have any idea? Okay, let's see. So, generally, abdomen is responsible for bearing most of the internal structures like the blood circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, like internal structure. Externally, there are limited body parts available in the abdomen, and abdomen is also consist of different segments. The number of segments vary according to the type of insect. So 10 or 11 may be present, but the number of segments may differ according to the type of insect. Right? So the main structures present here that is important for us is ovipositor. එතන තියෙන structure එකක් ovipositor කියලා. Ovipositor is present in female insects, and females lay eggs using this ovipositor. Ovipositor එක පාවිච්චි කරලා තමයි යාලා බිත්තර දාන්නේ. Right? So this ovipositor is responsible for laying eggs, and it is present in the females of insects. And at each body segment, there are small openings like this, spiracles. They are called as spiracles. These spiracles are used for the respiration. මේවයින් තමයි යාලා හුස්ම ගන්න. Spiracles are present here. Right. Now, the last structure that I'm going to discuss with you is the exoskeleton. What is exoskeleton? What is skeleton?
උච්චර්මය
Skeleton is the bone system. Right? We have bones inside our body. So, generally, in many animals, the bones are available inside the body. But in the case of insects, the skeleton is present as the external structure. Right? That is called as the exoskeleton. Right? This exoskeleton protects the insects from moisture, dryness, diseases, and natural enemies. The main function is to provide the hardness, stiffness, and protect the body shape of insects. මේකෙන් තමයි යාලා body shape එක maintain කරගන්නේ. And also, it will protect the insect body from the moisture, dryness, diseases, and other enemies. Right? So when we take the exoskeleton, there are 3 layers present: cuticular, hypodermis, and basement membrane. And cuticular is the most outside layer. So I think I had a video clip on this.
On the outside, all soft bodies. It's like a skeleton on the outside of their bodies. Insects like ants, bees, and beetles have exoskeletons made of a substance called chitin. Like the internal skeleton of vertebrates, the exoskeleton gives the insect's shape, helps them move, and provides protection. It also helps to prevent water loss. Lobsters, crabs, scorpions, and spiders are other animals with an exoskeleton made of chitin. Like all organisms, the bodies of animals with exoskeletons grow, but the exoskeletons don't. Can you see how this could be a problem? The solution?
I just wanted to show you about the skeleton. So the main function of exoskeleton is to make the shape, maintain the body shape of insect. Right? So with that, we are going to wind up the first session with external anatomy of insects. We discussed about the head, thorax, and abdomen. And under the head, we discussed about antennas, compound eyes, simple eyes, and the mouth parts. And in the thorax, we discussed about the legs and the wings. And in the abdomen, we discussed about the ovipositor. And altogether, we also discussed about the exoskeleton. Right? So the first section is over. Do you have any questions?
Recording stopped.
Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Recording in progress.
Okay. In this section, we are going to talk about insect classification. Morning we discussed about insect morphology, mainly the external morphology, and under that we discussed that the insects have an exoskeleton and they have three body segments: head, thorax, abdomen, and there are other external structures like eyes, compound and simple eyes, antennas, legs, wings, mouth parts, toothpicks. And in this segment, we are going to discuss about the classification of insects, right? So when we talk about insects, insects are the most diverse type of animals on Earth, right? There are huge variations among insects on Earth, right? And there are many species of insects available. So when we discuss about different body parts, you saw how various these, how developed, how diverse these body parts are. So according to these different types of species available, there are many described species of insects available. More than millions of insects are available. එතකොට ඔයාලා හිතන්න කොච්චර වෙනස්ද එකින් එක යනකොට කියලා. So it's a huge class of animals, right? And it is also believed that out of all the identified known animals on Earth, more than half of them are insects. දැනට ලෝකේ ඉන්න සත්තුන්ගෙන් භාගයකට වැඩිය insects කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ, right? And they can live in all the types of environments. And some can live in water, in the environment, some can fly, some can live inside the soil. So they can live in almost all the types of environment, right? However, there are very limited number of insects on the ocean, but they are spread on all the types of environment, right? Now let's see the insect classification. So they belong to kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta, class Insecta. So we are talking about the class Insecta, right? So if you take the example given here, ඉතුරු ටික අපි species wise නේ මේ ටික ඔක්කොම common for insect, right? The kingdom is Animalia, phylum is Arthropoda, and the class is Insecta. Under this class, there are different types of orders. Orders ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. Order that this insect belongs is order Lepidoptera, family Protricidae, and genus Corystoneura, right? So the scientific name is Mimiage, right? So I told you that there are millions of insects. So there's a huge variation. ලොකු variation එකක් තියෙනවා එක්කෙනාගෙන් එක්කෙනාට. Right? Generally, when we talk about the class Insecta, they are invertebrates. That means they do not have a vertebrate system and a vertebral column, and they have an exoskeleton instead of the vertebrate system, vertebral column. එයාලට vertebral column එකක් නැහැ. එයාලට තියෙන්නේ exoskeleton එකක්. So generally this exoskeleton, we discussed about the exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is made up of chitin in most of the insects, right? And some other features of the insects are they have 3 body segments. We have discussed this earlier. So what we learned in the previous lecture is useful for this lecture, right? So they have 3 body segments, and generally they have 3 pairs of legs, and these legs are jointed. We call them jointed legs, and they have compound eyes and also a pair of antennae, right? So those are some features of this class Insecta, right? So what else you know about the class Insecta? Yes. Okay. Now let's move forward in this insect classification. As I told you, they belong to kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, and subphylum is Mandibulata. Superclass is Hexapoda. And the class is Insecta. This is a more deeper classification. So after this class, there are different orders of this class Insecta. Do you have any idea? Do you know some examples for different orders? Uh, these names are coming because of the because of a reason. මේ ගොඩක් නම් වලට තේරුමක් තියෙනවා. Right? So mandibulata means they have a mandible. If you can remember, as mouth parts, they have a mandible. Because of that, they belong to subphylum Mandibulata. And the superclass Hexapoda means hexa means 6. Poda means legs. Right? Since they have 6 legs, they are coming under the superclass Hexapoda. Right? Okay. Do you know any orders, insect orders? Here one was given, order Lepidoptera. Do you know any other orders? I think you have learned, if you have done A-level biology, you have learned, even maybe in all of us. Lepidoptera, Thaumanati, orders. Nobody knows?
Hemiptera.
Yeah, Hemiptera.
Hymenoptera.
Okay, let's see how those orders are coming. So, Insecta can be divided into 2 main categories as Apterygota and Pterygota. Apterygota and Pterygota. What is Apterygota and Pterygota? I told you almost all of these have a certain meaning. So pterygota means wings. Generally, when we put a in front of a word, it means a negative, right? So apterygota means insects without wings. Pterygota means insects with wings, right? So apterygota means insects with wings, and pterygota means did I miss it? apterygota කියන්නේ මොකක්ද එතකොට? wingless wing with wings. A කිව්වොත් negative. කියන්නේ නැහැ කියන එක. apterygota means no wings. Pterygota means with wings. Right? So that is the first classification. Again, we can classify pterygota into two. Again, with wings insects can be classified into two categories again. Endopterygota and exopterygota. Endo means inside. Exo means outside. So we discussed that exoskeleton is present outside the body. Endopterygote means inside. So pterygote, I told you pterygota means wings. So in endopterygota, wings are developing inside the body. And in exopterygota, wings are developing outside the body. Right? Did you understand this classification? Did you understand? Shall I explain it again? Did you understand?
Yes, understood.
So, insecta without wings means apterygota, and with wings means pterygota. And with wings, insects can be further divided as exopterygota and endopterygota. Exo means from the outside, wings are present outside of the body, and endopterygota, wings are present inside of the body. Okay? Right. Now we are going to discuss about these two types of insect categories, endopterygota and exopterygota. Right? So, first we will discuss about the exopterygota. Exopterygota, the insects coming under exopterygota shows incomplete life cycle. I'm sure you know what this is. Incomplete life cycle. Maybe you have learned this in grade 5, but maybe you don't know the English terms. So I'll be discussing these. Try to get the English terms. Right? So exopterygotes have incomplete life cycle and endopterygotes have a complete life cycle. Okay. So in incomplete life cycle, there are 3 stages of life: eggs, nymph, and adult. Eggs, nymph, and adult. In complete life cycle, eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. Eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. Okay. So when we talk about the incomplete life cycle, when we talk about insecta, class insecta, almost all the insects are developing from eggs. Whether they are exo or endopterygotes, they are developing from eggs generally. So the first stage in all are eggs. And in incomplete life cycle, in exopterygotes, the one that comes out from the egg is called the nymph. This nymph is quite similar to the adult. If you look here, morphologically, alien baladi, the nymph is quite similar to the adult in their body shape and structure. But the nymph is not well developed like the adult. They are the primitive stages. Right? When this nymph develops with time, the adult will develop. Okay, so this is an example given here. So from egg, after about 2 weeks, nymph will come. After about 2 weeks, from egg, nymph will come out. And from nymph to adult, there are about 4 to 7 weeks, about 2 months. Right? Now we have discussed about the exoskeleton, which is made of chitin, isn't it? So this exoskeleton, now here you can see this nymph has a body structure developed. Shape but when the body of the nymph develops, the exoskeleton does not enlarge. In the case of ours, we have a skeleton inside our body, and these bones are developing when we are developing. අපි වර්ධනය වෙද්දී අපේ ඇඟේ කටුත් දිග වෙනවා, හැඩ වෙනස් වෙනවා, ඒ අදාළ විදිහට ඒකත් develop වෙනවා. But the exoskeleton do not expand even though the body of the the body size is increasing. Body is developing. මේක වර්ධනය වුණාට එයාගේ body එක exoskeleton එක develop වෙන්නේ නැහැ. It is the same size. Then you can see the size difference of the nymph and adult. How can this nymph become the adult?
Nymph is smaller than adult.
Than adult. So when the nymph is developing, its exoskeleton is not developing. What will he do? He will shed its exoskeleton and develop a new one. Size එකෙන් වැඩි වෙද්දී පරණ තිබ්බ එක අයින් කරලා ගලවලා දාලා අලුත් එකක් develop කරනවා. Right? They will shed their older exoskeleton and develop a new one. Right? So that is called as molting. So from 4 weeks to 7 weeks, they take some time to develop into adults. So during this time, they have to do this molting several times to become the adult. මේ adult size එකට එනකම් එයාට 3-4 පාරක් මේ molting කරන්න ඕනේ. They have to shed their older exoskeleton and develop a new one to increase the body size and develop further. Did you understand?
ඒගොල්ලෝ අර හැවහැලීමක් කරනවනේ දර නිකන් උඩ කොටස.
Did you understand? Did you all understand? If you say yes, I can proceed. If you say no, I will explain again. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Right. Those are the 3 life stages in exoterigote: egg, nymph, and adult. From adult, adult female and adult male will mate together, and the female will lay eggs. That is the incomplete life cycle. Incomplete means they have 3 life stages compared to these, endoterigotes, they have a complete life cycle which has 4 growth stages. So there, what we see is eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. In this case, you can say that all 4 stages are completely different to each other. Eggs are different to larvae, larvae is different to pupae, pupae is different to adult. But here, nymph and adults are almost similar. Right? මෙයාලගේ life stage එකේදී ගොඩක් වෙනස්. Right? So, what happens here is the eggs will hatch and a larvae will come out, which looks like a caterpillar. Caterpillar කෙනෙක් වගේම larvae. Caterpillar කියන්නේ ගැඩ් මොනවාද? දලබුවෙක්. The larvae is coming out from the eggs, not a nymph. Right? So the larvae will consume the tissues, and then after some time it will develop into a pupa. Pupa is a completely different stage where this larvae is hibernating. يعني එයා වටේට ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එකක් ඩිවෙලොප් කරගෙන ඒක ඇතුළට වෙලා ඉන්නවා එයාගේ බොඩි එක ඩිවෙලොප් වෙනකන්. They do not move, they do not feed during the pupal stage. Move වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ, කෑම කන්නෙත් නැහැ. During the larval stage, they consume lot of as much as they can. Because during the pupal stage, they do not consume anything. What they do here, in the larval stage, they are very active and they consume lots of nutrients and store them. So during the pupal stage, they use what they have already eaten during the larval stage. Larval stage එකේදී more active, එයාලා පුළුවන් තරම් ආහාර අරගෙන ඒ ආහාර තමයි pupal stage එකේදී පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ මේ conversion එක. Because as you see here, larvae and adult are completely different. For this conversion, they are taking a separate time. They are hiding. They are covering themselves inside a cocoon. Cocoon එකක් ඇතුළට ගිහලා ඒක ඇතුළේදී අර කලින් ආහාරයට ගත්ත ඒ nutrients ඔක්කොම පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ development එක කරගන්නවා. Right? So after some time, the pupa will be from the pupa, adult will be coming out by breaking the cocoon. Cocoon එකෙන් එළියට adult කෙනෙක් තමයි එන්නේ ටික කාලයක් ගියාට පස්සේ. Then, as you see here, female and male adult will mate, and again they lay eggs. So the cycle moves on. Right? I hope you understood the difference between the complete and incomplete life cycle. Do you have any questions? I will show you a video clip. This is a complete life cycle. The structure you see here, which is used to lay eggs, is called the ovipositor, which is present in the abdomen. We have discussed about this in the previous lecture. So this structure is the ovipositor. Have a look at that again. So when you look here, can you identify the type of mouth parts they have?
Chewing.
Yes, one is chewing mouth parts. Here you can see how they are developing their cocoon. Okay, I think you understood the complete life cycle. I will show you a video on incomplete life cycle now, so you can compare. Can you see?
Yes, can see.
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that video clip was not I mean it didn't have the other life stages from the eggs to adult. It just showed a molting done by a dragonfly. I told you that molting is shedding their previous exoskeleton and developing into a new one. Right? They shed their older exoskeleton and develop a new, larger exoskeleton. They have to do this several times to become the adult. The nymph has to do this several times. Okay, so this is a comparison.
Animals, the young one looks similar to the adults. But in other animals, the young one look very different. A young frog, or tadpole, has a long tail and no legs. As it grows, its tail becomes shorter, and it begins to grow legs. An adult frog has no tail, but has legs. The young go through a series of changes known as metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a series of different body forms, during the various stages of life. Metamorphosis is divided into complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis. In complete metamorphosis, the animal undergo complete physical changes in each stages of its life cycle. In complete metamorphosis, an animal goes through 4 different stages in its life cycle. The egg hatches into a larva. A larva develops into a pupa. The pupa is enclosed in a cocoon. The pupa develops into an adult. Frogs and other amphibians also go through a complete metamorphosis, but there is no stage within the cocoon. Incomplete metamorphosis. In incomplete metamorphosis, an animal goes through 3 different stages in its life cycle. First, the animal hatches from the egg as a nymph. Nymphs look like tiny adults, but they don't have wings. As the nymph grows larger, it molts. Molting happens when an insect sheds its hard outer skeleton. After several molting, the insect, which now has wings, reaches its adult stage. Difference between complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. Complete metamorphosis has 4 stages. Incomplete metamorphosis has 3 stages. In complete metamorphosis, the stages are egg, larva, pupa, and adult. In incomplete metamorphosis, the stages are egg, nymph, and adult. In complete metamorphosis, the larva looks completely different from the adult. In incomplete metamorphosis, the nymph looks similar to the adult, except it don't have wings. In complete metamorphosis, molting does not occur. In incomplete metamorphosis, molting occurs 5 times before becoming an adult. Example of insects undergoing complete metamorphosis are butterflies, ants, fleas, bees, beetles, moths, and wasps. Example of insects undergoing incomplete metamorphosis are grasshoppers, crickets, termites, cockroaches, and lice. Question time.
Okay, I think now you are very clear about the complete and incomplete metamorphosis. Do you have any questions? I think there are no questions because of your silence. So I'll move forward. Right. Now, here onwards, I'm going to discuss some insect orders that are coming under each of these categories, Endoterygota and Exoterygota. Right? There are a large number of orders, but I have selected few orders that are containing many pests. Insect orders තියෙනවා ගොඩක්. මම මෙතනදි ගත්තේ pests ලා වැඩිපුර ඉන්නේ. Okay. So first we will discuss about Exoterygota. That means they have an incomplete life cycle. right? So insects with a simple life cycle without a pupal stage, that means eggs, nymph and adult, are coming under Exoterygota, and we are going to discuss about 4 orders under Exoterygota: order Orthoptera, order Isoptera, order Thysanoptera, and order Hemiptera. We are going to discuss about these 4 orders, right? When we are discussing about these 4 orders, we will be discussing about some examples that are very common, right? And under Entoterygota, that means the insects with complete life cycle with the life stages with eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. We will be discussing 4 orders under this as well: order Coleoptera, order Lepidoptera, order Diptera, and order Hymenoptera. Right? You have to remember into which category these ones belong to. Order Orthoptera යන්නේ මොන එකටද කියලා ඔයාලා දැනගන්නවා. Right? Okay. First, as I told you, I'm going to discuss about the Exoterygota, and then we will discuss about the Entoterygota. Okay? So the first order that we are going to discuss about Exoterygota is Hemiptera. Right? So, I told you most of these terms have a meaning, right? Hemi means half, pteron means wings. Insects with half wings, that is not the exact meaning. මේ කියන්නේ මෙයාලට පට්ටෙක් භාගයයි තියෙනවා කියලා නෙවෙයි මේකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ, right? So bugs are coming under the order Hemiptera. Bugs. Things, bugs, like we will discuss what are the examples, right? So they are found in all the environments like plants, on animals, and also on water. Do you know any examples of bugs? Any pests that you know? Bugs? I'm sure you know. Any pets? Don't you know? Okay, I'll show you here. Don't you know this one? Who is this? Who is this?
පිටිමකුණ.
Bug. Right? So I think you all know about this mealybug. It's a very common pest found in all the plants, crops that we cultivate. Right? Okay. We will discuss about some examples later. So, as I told you, order Hemiptera contains bugs, and most of the insects that comes under Hemiptera are quite harmless, but there are harmful pests. And almost all these insects have toxic saliva, which when they consume the leaf tissues, they inject this toxic saliva into the plant. And because of that, necrosis and death of tissues in plant leaves or plant parts occur. Right? Toxic saliva. I think you all know most of these insects shown in this picture. White fly, although its name is whitefly, it's a bug. Scale insect, aphids, mealybugs, leafhoppers, tree hoppers, fiddlebugs, frog hoppers, jumping plant lice, squash bug, shield bug, stink bug, capsid bug, bed bugs that are found on beds, water bugs are some examples of this hemiptera or the hemiptera. I think you have seen most of these insects. Have you seen them? Have you seen them? What are the insects you have seen out of them? Have you seen this one? Scale insect? Huh? Sorry? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay, let's discuss few of them. So the first one I'm going to discuss is the white fly. So here you can see the adult and the nymph. White fly comes under this family, Alairoidae, and they are very tiny and very small, delicate white color insects, right? And they also have a waxy dust, and they look like a moth. Moth කෙනෙක් වගේ. We will discuss about that later. So moth, it looks like a moth, right? However, comparatively, the nymph is quite different from the adults. It is oval shaped and it has some spikes, and these spikes are called as filaments, right? And one important thing in whitefly is they have the ability to secrete honeydew. Honeydew means they have sucking mouth parts. Sucking mouth parts, if you can remember. මම උදේ කියපු ඒවා ඔයාලට මේකෙදි ඕන වෙයි. So sucking mouth parts, they insert their mouth into the plant tissue and suck the sap from the plant, and from what they consume, they produce honeydews. නිකම් පැණි බින්දුවක් වගේ දෙයක් එයාලා පිට කරනවා. පැණි බින්දුව වගේ. So because of this honeydew, ants will come to these plants. When there are whiteflies, there are ants associated with them. Ants ලා තමයි මේ මෙයාලව එහාට මෙහාට අරගෙන යන්නේ. The adult can fly. මෙයාල adult පුළුවන් පියාඹන්න, but the nymphs and eggs cannot. So ants are responsible for acting as vectors. Ants ලා තමයි මෙයාලව පතුරවන්න එක විදිහක්. Because they secrete honeydew. And also, because of this honeydew, the honeydews තියෙන හින්දා a fungus like thing is growing on this honey, a black color mold. It is called as sooty mold. Well, if you can remember a tree, a papaya tree affected by mealybugs, have you ever seen? I'll show you a picture later. So it will be clear for you. Look at this. Mealybugs also produce honeydews. Here you can see ants are also living with these mealybugs, because ants come for that honeydew. And when ants move from one tree to another, they spread these insects also, right? And what I wanted to show you is here, can you see some black coloration? This black coloration is because of a mold growing on this honeydew. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයාලා දැකලා ඇති. Mealybugs, whiteflies in a tangle, there is a black coloration. That is because of the honeydews that produced by these insects, and a mold is growing on that. It is called as sooty mold, right? I think in your next lecture, lecture on this course, Ms. Amanda will discuss about the damage of these insects too, and how to control them. What are the crops they damage, likewise. Here I am just discussing about their classification only. Okay. Right. Another insect that comes under Odohemiptera is aphids. And have you seen aphids? And also plant life. These are very tiny insects, and they belongs to family Aphidae. And they are the largest group of plant bugs, and they are also adapted to many environmental conditions, but they are well adapted to temperate conditions, right? Insects with wings and without wings are also available. They also produce honeydews, and they are associated with ants too. They also have sucking mouthparts. One of the problems associated with insects with sucking mouthparts is they spread viral diseases. How does that happen? Now imagine a white fly who is attacking, we'll take chili plant. Chili leaf curl virus is there in that field. So when a white fly pierce and suck the sap from a viral diseased plant and go to a healthy plant and suck sap from the healthy plant, they act as vectors of virus disease. අර virus එක එකින් එකට මෙයාලා හින්දා පැතිරෙනවා. මෙයාලා sucking insects, right? එතකොට එයාලා plant එක damage කරලා hole එකක් හදලා ඒකෙන් තමයි sap එක උරා බොන්නේ. එතකොට ඒකත් එක්ක එයාලා මේ hole එකක් හදලා එයාලගේ mouth part එක්ක virus එක spread වෙනවා plant එකෙන් plant එකට. So one of the most difficult thing with this insect pests is they act as viral disease vector, right? So සමහර වෙලාවට මෙයාලගේ original damage එකට වැඩිය මෙයාලා vectors ලා විදිහට කරන damage එක ලොකුයි, right? What they do as their damage is sucking the sap from the plant, right? Sometimes that may be comparatively negligible compared to the spread of viral disease, right? And since they are sucking pests, they like to live on young leaves and stems in the growing tips. Because they are pierce කරන්න ඕනේ නේ plant tissue එකට එයාලගේ mouth parts ඇතුල් කරන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට hard එකකට වැඩිය soft young leaves and stem parts are preferred by these insects. Okay. And mealybugs, they are also similar. They also have piercing and sucking mouth parts. They belongs to family Pseudococcidae, and they are generally covered with a waxy layer, white color waxy layer, and they have well developed legs. They can move from tree to tree or from leaves, and they have sucking mouth parts, and they release honeydews, and ants are also associated with them, right? These insects are causing a huge damage to crops. And this one, of course, I think you have seen them, kale insects. They have a very hard waxy cover, and they are tightly attached to the plant tissue, maybe the stem or parts. And these kale insects, they belongs to family Coccidae, and it's a very large family, and they have a waxy hard cover, right? They are tightly attached, firmly fixed to the stem, and not easily removable, right? They also release honeydews, and ants are also coming to consume them. And some other examples are plant hoppers. Here you can see plant hoppers. Maybe you have seen they are comparatively small, and they also have sucking mouth parts, and they act as vectors and spread diseases of phytoplasma. And here you can see leaf hoppers. They are also tiny insects, and they have the ability to jump very fast, right? They are also acting as vectors of plant viral diseases. And here you see shield bugs and stink bugs. These bugs, I think you have seen these bugs. Here you can see a stink gland. මේ මෙතන තියෙන මේ stink gland කියලා එකට කියන්නේ ඒ අපි එයාව touch කරොත් මේ stink gland එකෙන් ගඳක් නිකුත් වෙනවා. අපි අර paddy bug ඇලුවොත් ඔයාලා දන්නවා ඇති. They have a bad odor, unpleasant odor coming from them, right? It is a technique they use to protect themselves from other their pests. So there is a huge variation with bugs, shield bugs and stink bugs, and most of them have stink glands, and they release unpleasant odorous liquid. Okay, right. Those are the insects that comes under order Hemiptera. I hope you understood, and in your next lectures you will learn more insects that are coming under, learn more about these insects, insect pests that are coming under order Hemiptera, right? Next order that we are going to discuss is order Isoptera, right? Here the meaning is isos means equal, pteron means wings. Give me a second. Okay, the example is termites. Generally, they are tropical insects that there are more than 2,000 species. Next order that we are going to discuss is order Orthoptera. Ortho means straight. Pteron is wings, so they have strong, straight wings. right? Examples are grasshoppers, crickets, and locusts. I think you have seen these insects, grasshoppers, crickets, and locusts. And this order Orthoptera is a large order, and there are more than 17,000 species coming under this order, right? So first, let's see different types of insects that are coming under these orders. Here we are discussing some examples that are commonly found. Maybe they are not pests. සමහර අය pest ලත් නෙවෙයි. අපි order එක ඉගෙන ගන්නයි මෙතනදී යාලා ගැන කතා. Okay? Right. So the first one we are going to discuss is longhorn grasshoppers. Here they have a very long antenna, and this antenna is even longer than their body, right? I think you have seen this type of grasshoppers, and green or brown color insects are available. And the short-horned grasshoppers, here you can see they have a shorter antenna. They are shorter than their body. And crickets, I think you have seen crickets as well. These crickets, they make some noise, which is not very pleasant to us. So they make some noise, and they have a very long antenna, and the females, they have a long ovipositor, as you see here in this picture. Okay, and this one is called wood cricket. They are living in the soil, and they are 4 wings. Here, sorry, 4 legs. As you see here, are developed for digging. මේ යාළගේ 4 legs are developed for digging, and they have very strong teeth as well. Right. Those are the insects that comes under order Orthoptera. Next order is order Thysanoptera. Thysanome is a fringe, fringe-like wing. So one pet example is thrips. Thrips maybe thrips, right? Here you can see a thrips, a picture of a thrip, and they are tiny insects. Looks like ants, but thinner and longer than ants. And they also are sucking insects. They suck the sap from the plants, and because of these thrips, these are the damage they do to plants. The leaves are deforming, scaring, yield loss, and transmission of plant pathogens, viral diseases. And if you have seen thrips, අපි නුග ගහක් ගත්තොත් in Ficus benjamina, නුග, if you see the leaves, if you observe the leaves closely, definitely you will see these thrips, because they are rolling the leaf and living inside the leaf. Leaf එක roll කරලා leaf එක ඇතුලේ තමයි ඉන්නේ. ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට නුග ගසල ඉන්නවා. Right? And some thrips are there which are beneficial for us. They act as predatory thrips. එයාලා කරන්නේ අපිට pest ලා ඉන්නවනේ, mites ලා වගේ අය. එයාලව කනවා මේ thrips ලා. සමහර thrips. So they are beneficial for farmers because they consume other pests, right? So these beneficial predatory tips can be used to control other pests like mites and other small insects. Okay. So as I told you, they have this type of antenna, wings. So they are fringe like. This is the life cycle: eggs, nymph, and adult. Right? This is the life cycle. So here you can see their wings, fringe like wings. Right. With that, I have completed the segment, the segment, the next segment. In this one, we discussed about the classification, and then we discussed how this classification comes. Insects belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta, and we discussed about different orders after that. So they belongs to subphylum Mandibulata, superclass Hexapoda, and class Insecta. We can classify class Insecta again into two as Aterygota and Pterygota. Aterygota means without wings, and Pterygota means insects with wings. And these can be again classified as Exoterygota and Endoterygota. Exoterygota means insect whose wings are developed from outside of the body. Endoterygota means wings developed from inside of the body. And exoterygotes, they have incomplete life cycle, egg, nymph, adult. And endoterygotes, they have complete life cycle, egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Right? So under exoterygota, we discussed about order Orthoptera, Isoptera, Thysanoptera, and Hemiptera. And in the next lecture, after the lunch break, we are going to discuss about order Coleoptera, Lepidoptera, Diptera, and Hymenoptera. Right? Okay. We have discussed about these examples. With that, the morning session is over. Now it's 12 o'clock.
Recording stopped.
Do you have any questions? The presentation.
Recording in progress.
Right. So we are going to move forward in the insect classification. We have discussed about insect classification in the second session. So now we are going to discuss about Endoterygota. So we have discussed that endoterygotes have a complete metamorphosis or complete life cycle with egg, nymph, larvae, pupa, adult. Should be larvae. And as we discussed, each form is completely different from each other. Right? Eggs are different from nymphs, nymphs are different from pupa, pupa is different from adult. So they are different life stages. And another importance is endoterygota, that means their wings are developing internally. Right? So under endoterygota, we are going to discuss about 4 orders: order Coleoptera, Lepidoptera, Diptera, and Hymenoptera. Right? We are going to discuss about these 4 orders. Right. So, firstly, we will discuss about order Coleoptera. So, coleo means shield. Pteron means wings. So, shield wings. They have shield wings. Those type of insects are called as coleopterans, and they have the examples are beetles and weevils. And one important thing is here, it is the largest order in the kingdom Animalia. Largest order in the kingdom Animalia. Right? Remember that. So it is the largest order in kingdom Animalia. Right. When we talk about beetles and weevils, they generally attack all parts of plants. Right? Not only plants, but fibers, grains, wood products, all the things that we have at home, they damage them, right? So they also act as scavengers and wood boring beetles. අපේ අර ගෙවල් වල තියෙන wooden furniture are also damaged by them. So one importance for us is that they act as decomposers. Now, when the trees fell down, when they get older, those are decomposed by these wood boring beetles. And another one, I think you all know, ladybird beetles. They consume other pests like mites and aphids. So they act as biological control agents. Right? So these are some importances, and the problem with them is they damage the plants, the crops that we grow. Right? Now let's see some examples. Here, can you see their wings? What is the importance of their wings? Coleo means shield. So they have a shield-like wings. Their wings are very hard. So inside this hard shield, there are hind wings. ඒ කියන්නේ පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන wings. The wings at the back are membranous wings. They are hidden inside these hard wings. Right? When they are flying only, these membranous wings are spread out. Let me share a video. I think in the morning also I showed a video clip of ladybird beetle. Let me show you. Can you see? Can you see? They have 4 wings. They are very hard, and inside those hard wings, they have the membranous wings that are used for flying. When these insects are resting, they have covered their other body parts. They cover their other body parts with these hard wings that is used for the protection of the insect. Right? Can you identify any insect from this pest? Do you know any one of these?
Oryctus rhinoceros.
Yes, what is the common name?
Kalupol kuruminia.
Coconut black beetle. How about others? Do you know any of these? Okay, most of them, except these two, are pests. So you will learn about these insect pests in Miss Amanda's lecture. What are the damages they do, and how to control them, right? So I'm not going to explain about them. Right, we will move to the other order. This is the order where butterflies, moths, and skippers are belonging to. Order Lepidoptera, right? So order Lepidos, in Lepidoptera, Lepidos means scales and pteron means wings. So butterflies, moths, skippers, I think you all know, you all have seen them, and they have very beautiful, attractive wings, right? Those are because of the presence of scales. And this is the second largest order in class insects, right? And out of these Lepidopterans, the damaging stage is the larvae. I told you that larvae is very active and consuming food in a rapid manner to consume more food and use them during their pupation period. Therefore, the main damage done by these insects is not done by the adult. Larvae is doing the damage, right? So larvae is a serious pest in many agricultural crops, and some are also damaging the stored food, maybe grains, rice, or green gram or whatever. Yeah, අපි store කරලා තියෙන seeds, grains, ඒවටත් damage කරනවා. And also for the crops, right? Main damage is done by the larvae, right? And some are there, some importance of them are also there. Silkworm. I think you all have heard about the silkworm. It's also a larvae. They help in industries like clothing. They produce silk, right? And some butterflies and moths are valued for their beauty. They have very valuable value because of their beauty, right? And some are important as pollinators. And butterflies, they pollinate the plants, so they are important as pollinators, right? So do you know the difference between moths and butterflies? Out of these two, which one is the moth, which one is the butterfly?
The one is the butterfly, other is the moths.
How do you differentiate these two? What are the differences?
Suckers,
What do you mean by sucker?
ශුණ්ඩාව වගේ යාළගේ ගොඩක් දිගට නැති.
Uh, there are some other very clear difference. Just by looking at them, you can say.
Wings are colorful.
Okay, yes, that is one very prominent difference between these two. In butterfly, as you said, this is the butterfly and this is the moth. Butterflies, they have very striking, attractive colors But in the case of moths, they have dull colors, brown, uh, maybe some very dark black, brown, light colors. Sometimes colors like these, cream, peach like colors. So yeah, that's one difference. What else? Yeah. Okay, let's see. So when we compare these two, even in this picture, you can see that butterflies have very attractive colors while moths have dull colors, right? And butterflies generally have a thin body while moths have a thicker, short body. And butterflies are active during the daytime and moths are active during the nighttime, right? And when you talk about the antenna, they have long, straight antennas, but here they have short, feathery antennas. And as you see in this picture, when butterflies are resting, their wings are close together. But here in moths, they are open when they are resting. If you just try to remember moths that you have seen at night in your house, they have opened their wings. They rest, the wings rest along the body, right? But here, when butterflies are resting, they are closed, right? Those are the main differences that are helping us to identify the difference between these two. I'll show you a video clip too. I hope you can see.
We're going to look at the differences between the two easily confused groups of the order Lepidoptera, the moths and the butterflies. Moths and butterflies are both similar looking and easy to confuse. Despite this, both groups have unique features that are useful in distinguishing whether a species is a moth or a butterfly. The biggest difference and most useful for identification is the difference in antennal structure. Butterflies possess clubbed antennae, whereas moth antennae are not, and are often comb-like or feathery in appearance. Moths also possess one feature that butterflies don't. This is the presence of frenulum on the hindwings. Frenulum are filaments that stick out from the hindwings and join with barbs found on the forewings. This allows for wing coupling so both wings can be moved together. Both form a chrysalis on the other and they are muscular. It is important to note that there are some butterflies. The next two features relate to the wings. The first is in relation to how the wings sit at rest. In most but not all butterflies, the second feature is in relation to the coloration of the wings. Butterfly wings are often a lot more colorful than moths, but this is not always the case. The final difference between moths and butterflies is in relation to the bodies of each group. The body of butterflies are usually smooth and longer than those of moths. The body of moths are usually furry looking and shorter.
Okay, so I think you got an idea about how these two are different. Right. Okay, these are some examples. Brinjal shoot tempered order. And here you can see that the adult is not doing the damage and the larvae is doing the damage, and larvae consumes the plant tissues. And regarding these pests, you will learn later. And we discussed that insects like butterflies have a very attractive wings because of the presence of scales on their wings. So the wings are covered, not only the wings, body also, and other appendages like face and abdomen, all are covered with scale, right? So let me share a video. Mm. It's a short video.
Butterflies and moth have powder on their wings. Well, the powder on the wings of moths and butterflies is really a layer of tiny, colored scales which overlap each other almost like the tiles on a roof. If you touch the wing with a finger, the powder is rubbed off, leaving the wing more or less transparent and colorless. The scales are generally like the shape of a hand tapered off at the wrist, and the whole surface is often grooved or cross-grooved. They are really hollow bags growing from tiny cup joints formed in the outer skin of the wing membranes. Subscribe for more interesting facts.
Okay, I think you got an idea how these scales are present in the body of body and the wings of Lepidoptera, right? And when we talk about the mouth parts, I told you that the butterflies have a structure called as proboscis. Generally, it is coiled under the head when it is not in use. But when it is in use, the butterfly can straighten it and enter it into the flowers. Okay. There was a small video clip regarding that too. How it opens and how it closes. These two are antennas, and this is the proboscis. Okay. So this long sucking tube, proboscis, is coiled under the head, right? When it is not in use, and when it is in use, you saw how it is used, right? Okay. So we have discussed about the life cycle of these butterflies, not only butterflies, lepidopterans. They have a complete life cycle, and the second stage, that is the larvae, is a caterpillar. It's called as a caterpillar, and they are cylindrical in shape, and they have a very well developed head with mandibular mouthparts which are used for biting and chewing, and Some have salivary glands which are modified into silk glands. They pupate inside a cocoon and in soil, maybe on leaves or branches. And yeah, so this is the proboscis. This is when it is not in use. It is coiled under the head, right? So caterpillars are depending on the leaves. They consume the plant tissues, and adults generally feed on nectar and liquid food. Right? They do not have these chewing mouth parts. Okay, that's about the order Lepidoptera. Now we are going to move to order Hymenoptera. Order Hymenoptera is consisting of insects like wasps, sawflies, bees, and ants. Right? So hymen means membrane. They have membranous wings. Just try to remember bees and their wings. They have membranous wings, and these are the third largest order in the insecta. Right? And out of them, some are pests, some are beneficial. Can you tell me some beneficial insects from this?
Bees are pollinators.
Yes, bees act as pollinators. What about wasps? Wasps act as natural enemies of other pests. They consume and eat other pests. අපිට harmful other pests ලව මෙයාලා කන. Right? So as pests we can see sawflies, but when we discuss about their importance, beneficial organisms are there, such as parasitic wasps, and as pollinators, bees and wasps both act as pollinators. And honeybees, they produce honey and also bee wax. So these are the importances of these insects coming under order Hymenoptera. Right? I think you all are familiar with the bees. They have modified biting and chewing mouth parts, and some have lengthy proboscis. So this type of mouth parts and other parts are different from insect to insect, right? And they have well-developed blade-like ovipositors present in females, right? So as you see here in this picture, they have membranous wings. Okay, so as their name suggests, they are Hymenoptera with membranous wings. Right. So when we talk about honeybees, they belong to family Apidae, and they live in colonies. And as you know, there are three castes of honeybees, as the queen, drones or males, and workers. Right. So queen is the one who is responsible for the production of eggs, and drones and workers are the ones who are responsible for other work inside the bee colony, right? So when you talk about the bees, they also have 3 pairs of legs, and the legs are used for walking. So I will share a video regarding the types of bees in a bee colony.
Another day at the Daily Echo. In this video, we will explain step by step the life cycle of bees including their functions and whether they are queen bees, workers, or drones. Let's get started. Cell of the hive. These eggs receive multiple attention from the community because a new bee hatches from each of them. Therefore, solitary bees have all their food stores in their cell, while social bees carry the needed food to their eggs. Larva. Only 3 days pass after egg laying before a larva hatches from them. Being arthropods, these larvae must molt to increase their size until they reach the desired size. At this stage, they reach the maximum larval size, which is between 5 and 6 centimeters. Despite this, the bee has no external legs or wings, as it performs no function or activity within the honeycomb and is limited only to feeding. It takes 4 to 5 days for the bees to cover their cell. That is, they open it. Pupa and metamorphosis. The larvae develop into pupae, structures in which they are surrounded by immobile capsules. To complete the metamorphosis of the bees, a 3-part structure with head, thorax, and abdomen, as well as legs, wings, and a stinger, in the case of a female bee, must emerge. This process takes between 10 and 23 days, and during this time, the bee does not eat. Adulthood. Once metamorphosis is complete, the new adult breaks through the cuticle of the larva and is ready to begin its life. If the egg was not fertilized, a male is formed. But if it was fertilized, then a female is born. Before we continue, we will see that exceptions at the end do. The queen bee is selected from the egg, while the other bees become workers. This depends on the feeding of the larvae, because the future queen receives pure jelly, an elixir produced by the worker bees. 2 days after her metamorphosis, the queen bee undertakes exploratory flights. After 7 days, she undertakes nuptial flights for 4 days, during which she is fertilized by 10 to 16 drones in her bee is the only. She lays them directly into the cells, leaving space for the worker bees to supply the cells with food. Their lifespan is 2 to 5 years due to their diet of royal jelly. Her life ends when her ability to lay eggs decreases and a new queen takes her place. What do workers bees do? All worker bees are female and divide their activities according to age. Before day 21st, they perform activities inside the hive, such as building hexagonal wax cells, feeding larvae with bee bread, and cleaning the hive. The entrance 1 days, their wax glands atrophy from all. They live actively only 6 weeks. Is to fertilize productive.
Okay, I think you got an idea about the 3 castes of bees. And I wanted to show another video about this one. I will explain it before showing you the video clip. So what I wanted to show you is now we always say that bees are acting as pollinators, right? They do you know how they do this? This pollination happens when bees move from flower to flower, and their legs are modified for this pollination, right? Here you can say their hind legs. There is a structure called as pollen basket, right? So this pollen basket is a smooth concave structure in their hind wings, right? And there are curved hairs to hold the pollen, right? When honeybees are moving from flower to flower, pollen grains are collected here. මෙතන pollen එකතු වෙනවා ගුලියක් වගේ. Then they carry it to the other flower and the pollination Continue. Right? So this is a modification of their legs. The modification is the pollen basket. Right? I will share you a videos to be more clear.
Some bumblebee back
Here you can see the pollen basket.
to their
This is the pollen basket. Okay, I think you got a clear idea about that. So let me go back to the presentation. Okay, right. Next, we are going to discuss about ants. They belong to family Formicidae, and they are also social insects like bees. They also live in colonies, and they also have well-defined castes like soldiers, workers, and queen. So soldiers are wingless, and they have head, and they generally protect the nest. And workers are wingless, and they are also engaging in protecting the nest, and they bring food and help the young ones and the queen. And female queen is comparatively large, similar to bees. They are winged and they lay the eggs. And the male winged insects are also present. They mate with the queen and help in the laying of eggs. Right here you can see the caste of a colony of ants. Right? Some ants cause direct damage to the crops, and some are important. Some are causing damage or disturbing the workers by biting and stinging. සමහර ants ලයිනානේ කරදර කරන. Right. Next one is wasps. So wasps are important because they are predators. They act as predators of other pests, and they control other pests naturally. Right? So they are attracted to sugar, and they also attack ripe and ripening fruits. Right? So those are the insects that are coming under order Hymenoptera. Next, we are going to move into another order, that is order Diptera. So order Diptera is considered as order with true flies. So flies, mosquitoes, fruit fly, melon fly, house fly are the ones that are coming under order Diptera. Right? So some insects are parasitic on others, like mosquitoes, they consume others. Right? And some act as agricultural pests, vectors of diseases, some act as pollinators, some act as scavengers. So there are many variations in their function, right? And some depend on decaying plant materials, and some depend on blood, and some depend on flower nectar. So their feeding habits are diverse, right? Another thing is some have minimized their hind wing into a structure called as halter. මේකට කියන්නේ halter කියලා. එයාලගේ පිටිපස්ස wing එක reduce වෙලා තියෙනවා මේ වගේ structure. So generally they have 2 wings only. Right? So fruit fly is a very important agricultural pest which causes damage to most of the crops. Fruit fly and melon fly both, they damage the crops. Do you know their damage? How it does the damage? I think I told you previously.
In the fruit grow the larvae.
Yes. So what is the damage?
Spoil the fruit.
So what happens is this is the adult female will make a hole in the fruit peel and lay eggs, and the larvae that is coming out will consume the tissues, inner tissues of fruits. Right? That is the damage. As a result of that, fruits may rot and fall down onto the ground. Okay. So that is the damage it does. I have a video about how this fruit fly does the damage. I'm showing these videos to keep you engaged.
A fruit fly goes through a complete metamorphosis in its brief life, progressing from egg through several larval instars to pupa and then to adult in as little as 10 days. Adult flies slurp up the fermenting liquids in spoiling fruit, produce, and in drink residues. Males initiate courtship rituals after picking up short-range pheromones from female. Angle her with pursuing a style cues and is based into tiny larvae within 24 hours of being laid. Barely visible to us at 1/2 millimeter in length, eggs are typically laid near the surface of fermenting food. The hungry larvae shown here feed on the softened part of a ripened banana. Although the larvae in the video appear large, they are actually so small that they usually go unseen by us altogether. As these larvae continue to feed and grow, they will go through 3 growth instars. Each instar represents the number of times the larva has molted out of its old skin. After reaching full maturity, the larva is ready to pupate and will turn from a crawling larva into a flying adult. These drastic body changes to the insect all take place over a few short days. The adult will slowly allow its wings to fill out. Adults will become sexually active in about 2 days after emergence and will be ready to mate. Greenway fruit fly traps are an excellent means of monitoring for these.
Okay, that is how the fruit fly damage occurs. The main damage is done by the larvae, right? Next one is housefly. I think you all are familiar with housefly, and they do generally do not do a damage the crops that we grow, but may damage the stored food. And I told you that they have sponging mouthparts. And these are some other examples, goldfishes and Dipterus leaf minor. This leaf minor is also, I think you all have seen this damage. The damage is done by the larvae here as well. So the adult will lay eggs near the epidermis of the leaves, and the larvae will dig holes and move, consuming the leaf tissues. Only the upper and lower epidermis of the leaves are remaining. So once the larvae is moving while consuming tissues, we can see silver color lining on the leaf, right? So that is caused by leaf minor. Right. With that, we have completed the lecture. So do you have any questions?
Recording stopped.